Hey everyone, and welcome back to Schmindel Schmunlimited, the podcast for reviews, rants, and ramblings about books from our favorite way to get books. I'm Amity, one of your hosts.
I'm Lauren, another host.
And I'm Stephanie, also a host. And today we're going to be talking about our second book that we read.
Yes, episode 2. We're doing this, guys. We have a podcast.
The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros.
Rebecca Yarros, who brought us, I would credit Rebecca for potentially bringing us actually really together as readers with Fourth Wing. So it was fun to discover she had stuff on KU.
Yeah.
Because I love KU.
Started our book club and
Yes.
it progressed into this.
And what's crazy about this book is it's so different from Fourth Wing.
It was so different, but I felt some similarities too. And at least I felt, maybe because Fourth Wing and Iron Flame are so long, I felt similarities in her character development, her plot development. I don't know, it felt familiar even though I did not know this story.
Yeah.
The connection with the characters, I think. I felt so connected when I was reading Fourth Wing. I also felt connected with the characters.
Yeah, her
this
character
book.
development's really good.
Yes.
I find myself rooting for them or hating them.
Yes.
Sometimes both.
At the same time.
So, and also what's really exciting is, so this book, part of it takes place during World War II, and we were all in DC, and we all went to visit the Holocaust Museum. So it was a really cool connection.
It takes place kind of pre-World War II.
Yes.
Ish. And one of the exhibit that we looked at in the Holocaust Museum was about almost pre-World War II. It was, told from the American perspective, and we'll get into the book in a second. But it was about what did America know and when, and what did we do and what we didn't do as much as we could have, obviously. And then but it was fascinating, and I never really
Thought of it in this lens.
Yes, thought of it at that lens. I mean, the book itself, and just a warning again, because it's episode 2, we're talking about the endings, spoiler alerts. But I didn't realize that that we had, potential trespassers isn't the right word.
Spies.
Treasonous.
Treasonous. Yeah.
Who would go, and then to fight.
Defect, essentially. To
Yes,
go
I
fight.
did not realize
I had no idea that was a thing. So
why
good
don't
job
we
teaching history and the book. But let's get into the book itself.
So we're going to give a little summary to start. So it initially starts with a couple of our main characters, Georgia and Noah. This is set in present day. And Georgia's grandmother,
Beloved
Great-grandmother, which I didn't realize.
Yes.
Great-grandmother, who lived to the age of 100 years old, was a famous romance author, well-known, beloved by all. And her grandmother has passed. Georgia is coming out of a terrible marriage, just newly divorced. Day she's divorced, gets back home to Colorado. And when she gets to her grand's house that is now hers, finds her mother is there, who her mother and her don't have the greatest relationship growing up. Her gran actually raised her. And finds, who was there with her? A couple of
the book editor.
So
publisher.
And she's shocked. She has no idea why they're all here.
Georgia walks into an ambush of her mother
whining and dining these people with
and
lemonade.
pretending to be Georgia. Georgia is the only
Yes.
Georgia is the only one who is now in the will. Her gran had cut her own granddaughter out. Georgia's mother's name is Ava. Not a huge fan of Ava. Spoiler alert there. But before she gets to the house, Georgia had stopped into her grandmother's bookstore and, was just picking up a couple of her grandmother's books reminiscing.
I felt a little bit like the running of the bookstore I thought it was going to be a bigger part of the story. That there was a bookstore, that the grandma had a bookstore.
There wasn't much there.
No, it was never revisited again. This grandmother who sold books and had a bookstore and some other stuff too.
But do you know who was there?
Noah was there.
Noah, our male main character of present day. And they have a not so great meet cute.
It's a meet hate.
A very good meet hate. Basically, Georgia, Noah is a romance-y author.
He's
an author. I'm not sure
it's author.
Yes.
But it was weird because doesn't he write like sad?
So he writes poignant endings.
Yes, there you go.
So not always the happy ever after that you would anticipate from a romance. So basically, Georgia...
I'd hate him.
Georgia tells him this, and they don't have exactly the greatest interaction. Georgia leaves, goes to the house, and they're in the process, her mother is trying to sell her grandmother's unfinished manuscript.
The thing we left unfinished.
So they then hire an author to finish.
It wasn't just her grandmother's unfinished manuscript.
It was like an
apparently her autobiography of
biography.
her great love. And it took me a long time to realize that wasn't her grandpa.
Yes.
Yes.
No, it was her grandpa.
It's George's great grandpa.
Yes.
Yes.
So walks in during this meeting where Georgia is ambushed, Noah.
As the great author that they're bringing in, the best on the market now.
She's already dissed him at the
gonna finish it. Some of my favorite parts were like the subtle feminism built into, like you brought in who to finish my grandmother's books.
Yeah.
A man.
Yes, I loved it. I loved that.
So finally, they come to an agreement where Georgia has final say on the ending of this book. Even though Noah is known for poignant, devastating endings, he wants to write this as a happy ending, and Georgia is
in line with what the grandma's writing style, Scarlett's writing style.
And what her grandmother's books are always like, and Georgia doesn't want that. She wants it to reflect her grandmother's actual life. And then throughout the book, it kind of reverses, goes from modern day to historical.
Like we're reading the
actual autobiography.
As it started, the autobiography. And the letters, too.
Yes, and the letters.
I really liked how sometimes at first I felt like the letters and the autobiography were telling the same story. And then I feel like story would happen, and then letters were from a different... almost like we were in tri-timeline, but it was like duo time. I really liked that. I did not find it hard to follow. And describing it sounds like it'd be hard to follow, but I didn't find it that way.
It was really easy to know which part of the timeline you were in, which was great, because sometimes you read books and you're like, okay, what is happening here?
Even who is it happening to? But no, it went very smoothly. I really enjoyed it.
So during World War II, this is, of course, Europe is in the war. America is not.
Pre-World War II.
Yes, pre.
And it is set in England. So... Gran is initially, originally Scarlett. That is Gran. She was
British.
She is from England, and Gran has a sister named Constance, and they are both from, an aristocratic family.
Titled?
Yes. Their parents have titles, and their parents kind of suck, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of parents suck theme.
Yes. Quite a few of them. So... Scarlett and her sister have enlisted into the military.
And their dad is also in it.
But not
Ish.
really.
He's just influential in it somehow.
But it seemed like he got out of it somehow.
Yeah, I don't think he actually is. I think just with his influence, they were able to transfer their stations.
And they had a cool job.
They did.
Yes.
So they were plotting where all the pilots were to help know where all the airplanes were in the air.
And if they fell or where it happened to them and stuff.
They'd listen to the radio and...
So... Scarlett then meets this pilot named Jameson.
Who's American.
He essentially defected from the U.S. to go fight the war before the Americans joined.
Because he had to do something. And that was where it was interesting to find out when we went to the museum, what they knew and when.
Yes. And it was interesting, too, because when he's talking to Scarlett about why he enlisted, it was, to kind of prevent it from coming
to the United States. So this was pre-Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Pre-Pearl Harbor. And I thought it was interesting. It was very focused on preventing it from coming to the United States. And nothing Holocaust related.
Yeah, that was skimmed over it.
Yeah. We just don't want it to get here. Whatever it is, genocide. Which, and sure, valid cause. But I thought that was interesting, and that he was somehow in, and what was he had a special name for the type of flyer he was. I forget
the plane?
What it was.
It was a Spitfire.
Maybe. Oh, maybe that's the
that
part.
was the plane.
I thought he had a special, he was a pilot that did a special thing. I don't know.
I knew he was
very good.
At one point during the book, he becomes an ace, and that's
yes!
that's how many kills they have. So it proceeds for them having this just epic love story. Initially, Scarlett says, absolutely not. I will not go on a date with you. You're a pilot.
Well, she spends all day plotting where the pilots
and
died.
they
I get
know
it.
that they die. And then finally, she agrees. And he ends up taking her on
Oh my gosh.
this first date.
Yes.
How do I get one?
Right. Yes. And also, like, you just got in an airplane with this random...
Yeah. So he just takes her in an airplane and flies her to this random field. And
remote field.
He had, used all of his buddies in his group to help set this up, and
Beautiful.
had dinner,
picnic, and a record player. Some
they
other was electricity.
danced.
Do record players need electricity?
I don't think the old school ones. And this was the record player that his mother sent with him to Europe and said, you bring this home alive with you.
Yes.
So this is a very sentimental object. And then their romance, progresses. Jameson gets transferred. Scarlett follows. Then they get married, rather quickly. But
So Scarlett was supposed to marry this jerk,
Henry Wadsworth.
Henry's kind of always a jerk's name in a book.
Who's-
I don't know that I've read a book with a hero Henry.
Yeah.
And the only reason she's supposed to marry him is because her parents are going to lose their land.
To him anyway?
And to
Well,
him.
so he has money, so he can let them keep their land. But Henry hits women, shall we put it.
He's
bluntly.
abusive.
Yes.
He's not a great guy. He's a really bad guy.
Also, while this is happening, her sister is in a relationship also with a pilot.
No, he is in the army.
He's in the army.
Yes, but they've been
together,
love.
yes.
They're
Childhood
engaged.
sweethearts.
Because I feel like that also, like...
They're only engaged-ish. Like, I couldn't
They're
tell.
engaged, but they weren't going to get married until after the war was
Oh, wait,
over.
because he's got to
yeah.
be back to do
But, like,
marrying.
Yeah.
he was, like, the one, and they've been together since they were
And the
Children.
parents were
Children,
cool
yeah.
with it?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was also had a title, so they were
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes back and forth between present day, where Georgia and Noah are, bickering.
Bantering.
They're bantering. Georgia continues to hang up on him when he tries to bring up happy ending when they're talking on the phone. So Noah shows back up in Colorado at her door and rents the house next door to her. So
Noah received some really good advice that if you want Georgia on board, you got to get Georgia to trust you.
Yes.
because
Like,
Georgia, she doesn't trust people anymore.
Anybody.
Yeah, she's been through the ringer.
Hardly herself or anybody else. Yes. And so he receives that really good advice. I really liked Noah.
I did too.
Yeah, I like Noah. Yeah.
I liked him a lot. I appreciated the efforts he took to try to get to know her.
My favorite part about Noah is the conversations with his sister.
Yes.
And that he would call her to be like, hey, how do I handle this?
Yes.
What do I do? How do I get this girl this person to trust me? I just want, and his sister was basically like, just don't be you, but
Which is very sisterly advice.
yes.
And Noah's a very confident person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he's got a lot of accolades. Like, he's a best-selling
He's written
author.
16 books
Yes.
already, and he's at, 31 years old or so?
I don't know. I couldn't know.
I
Because
think
it
he
made
was
me
like
feel-
31, Georgia 28, something like that. I know.
We're getting old. But yes, no, they were definitely more accomplished and younger than me.
Yes, it's fine.
It is. It's just fine. And so they were having a good time.
And it was also, I loved how Noah then changed his perspective of Georgia when he learned about her history, her past,
Yes.
what she went through with her ex, and what she did before she got with her ex.
And I guess he didn't even know who she was. Or
I know,
kind of
I
like
started-
his sister was like, oh, do you know who?
Do you know?
I know. Well, so I started not Noah's biggest fan
Yeah.
because like, what is this
Who are
guy?
you?
He just
Yes.
like writes these romance novels with these crappy endings, and then lives under doesn't even know how to approach somebody. And this is obviously something really important to Georgia.
This is her
at first I
grandmother's
was not
story.
And then he was like, oh, get to know her.
Got it.
And then it was great.
He was.
Yes.
And then I was like, man, I like this guy.
Shall we review Georgia's history, why she has trust issues?
Yes.
So her ex-husband's name is Damien, also a terrible human.
Yeah, also never good people. Henry's and Damien's never
Yes. So Damien is a movie maker? I don't know, director, something. And he then...
He's a director.
Yes.
He gets the rights to her grandmother's movies, but this was Georgia and Damien starting a production company.
Right, and Scarlett never wanted movies.
No,
made
she
of
did
her.
not. But
No, she
because
only did it because of
Georgia.
Georgia.
So Damien then cheats on Georgia throughout their entire relationship. And
It sounds like with basically everyone.
everyone.
Well,
and then gets
I don't
someone...
think Georgia wanted the to be a producer because she was in with the glass making.
Yes, she is a...
She did the art. She
The
was
art.
an artist, yeah.
Yes.
But I did get the impression that she enjoyed
The production.
the
But I wonder if
producing.
she does it because of him. Like, because I felt like a lot
I mean,
of,
they were
like...
she was very young when they were married, but...
She met him in college.
Right.
Mhm. And we later learned that Damien knew who Georgia was when he approached her initially. So
her great grandma.
Yes.
Yes, the
Yes.
family connection.
So Damien ends up getting another one pregnant. They get divorced, and Georgia just leaves everything. She leaves him the production company. She takes nothing. She just gets out as quickly as she can.
The one thing she does, though, kind of keep, which is what he wants, is he wants the movie rights to her great-grandmother's books.
the last book.
Oh, like on any of them. And
So that was kind of a twisty
Yes.
That was at the end.
part at the end,
Yeah.
which was fab. I did enjoy that.
yeah, that I thought
That was
cool.
great. So,
Like, I could see Scarlett doing that.
Yes.
so it was...
Or-
I mean, we could give that up now. So it was written into the will that Damien can have, there are 10 books that were optioned. They've made 5 movies. He can have the last 5, but only if Georgia is still part owner of the production company.
I didn't read that as the will. I read that as the original contract.
That-
for
yes,
the
contract.
The contract in the movie.
Like, it's just,
yeah.
Georgia
he-
can do whatever she wants with it because I'm grandma and I trust Georgia.
But Georgia
implicitly and
these can
nobody
only
else.
be made if Georgia is
Yes.
still a co-owner of this company. And Georgia no longer is. So Damien...
And I love that she held on to that.
I
Just
know.
like-
So at the end, she then reveals that to Damien and just blows up
Well,
his
I think
world.
he comes because he wants the book.
Yes, he
Um,
does. So
did the book ever have a title?
I think it's called The Things We Leave Unfinished.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
what
Which
I
is
also liked, and I think that this says something, but the fact that Scarlett never said to Georgia how she felt about Damien.
yeah.
She was like, I'm letting you do it.
You need to
and
figure
you
this
need
out
to
on your
figure
own."
out this on your own. She never was like, I don't like him. But she was like, I trust you. Like, I trust you with this producing company. I trust you with my books. But Georgia knew that she wasn't a fan. So
Of Damien.
She was
Damien.
hoping that she would figure out that she deserved that epic love story the way
yeah,
Scarlett got when
yeah.
she was younger.
So let's get back to Scarlett.
Yes.
So Scarlett and Jameson are married. They're still like perfect and fabulous and adorable.
she's like moved a couple times to be with him.
Yeah, because now they're married. She's continuing her position until they've done as married people do,
And she gets pregnant.
and she gets pregnant.
Even though they didn't want children, but she
Yes.
out of it.
But-
Yeah.
You know,
Obviously,
that's it.
and the
It's a little-
pregnancy trope is not one of my favorites.
I don't hate it.
I normally hate it. In this page, I actually do feel like it's very necessary for the story.
Yeah. But the minute you saw that she was feeling nauseous, like,
You're like,
oh,
all right, we
there
got it, there we
is.
go.
We
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
So she
And she like tries to hide it for like 6 months.
she
in
hides
her
it until like
uniform.
month 5, 6 until she, cannot button her uniform anymore.
And because it was the 30s, you obviously cannot work because you are with child.
Obviously. So she had to give up her position, and
But
while
she loves so much.
I know, she loved it so much. So she felt like she wasn't contributing to the war, but Jameson ends up buying her a typewriter. And that's when she starts writing her stories.
Writing her starts of stories.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Her,
She
Because
initially
she's a storyteller.
yes. But her stories never finish.
Yeah.
And then one of the stories she also begins to write is her and Jameson's love story.
Yeah.
Which is so pretty. And then Jameson's plane goes missing.
it does.
Is she still
Well, she has the baby.
She has the baby first.
She has the baby. That's
She
right.
has the
Yeah,
baby.
she has the baby. His name is William.
Yes.
Yes.
Cute little boy.
William
Cute.
Vernon.
Sure.
Vernon is Jameson's great uncle or his uncle.
Yes!
So, named
Yes.
after. And while they're there, there's more air raids. It's becoming much more dangerous for them to be in England. And Jameson wants to get them out.
Yes, Pearl Harbor
Yes.
hits.
Yes.
And that's when he's like,
I gotta get you back to
I'm-
America.
yes,
this is coming. Everyone's coming.
Need
Yeah.
to get you back to Colorado.
Yeah.
So Jameson's uncle shows up one day, and he had joined, I don't know which branch of the military, the U.S. military, and Jameson's uncle helps to get Scarlett out. So they have this plan. He gets, her on a plane manifest. Scarlett gets a visa to travel.
Yeah. And it takes her a lot because she wants to stay in England. She wants to be with Jameson.
In the meantime, her sister's love, Edward
dies.
Edward dies. And her sister's devastated.
And she's
of
like
course.
heartbroken.
And then her parents, being them sucky selves, had found out that Scarlett had gotten married, had found out that Scarlett was pregnant. Scarlett cuts off all communication, and then Constance gets engaged and married to the woman beater.
Henry.
Who does his woman beaten things, and it's awful.
I know this is like a tangent, but like so her parents become obsessed, or more like her dad becomes obsessed with
having her son.
Her son.
And
I find
wants an heir.
Yeah, it's
because that's where the title would go.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the title wouldn't go to his daughters.
Yes. But like he kind of like claims this like grandson as his own.
Yeah.
And doesn't even give him Jameson's last name. He's like, he's ours.
So Scarlett's now concerned that if anything should happen to her, Jameson, that her father would then take her son, into this terrible life,
yes.
So that he would have an heir.
So she does like come to the realization that she needs to go to America.
She needs to go. She needs to get away from her parents.
So cut forward to 3 days before she's supposed to leave. Jameson goes out flying.
Like he does. That's
like
his
he
job.
does. And
12 planes go out.
12 planes go out, 11 come in. He gets shot. His plane gets shot.
Around the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yes.
On the coast of the Netherlands. His plane loses all its fuel, and then he goes...
Good times.
He goes down below the clouds, and none of his comrades see him actually crash, so they decide that he's missing. And, Scarlett, of course, is devastated. Constance is there, and...
Constance's been through the same thing with Edward, and kind of knows... But Scarlett's like, he's not dead. He's
right, I would have felt it inside.
I would know if he was dead. He's missing.
So then the story progresses to, Constance basically packs for Scarlett and makes her go, puts her in the car, and while they're driving to the airfield, an air raid happens. So they get out of the car, they're sprinting, they're trying to get to an a shelter, and they get hit by, a bomb, and it cuts to Scarlett waking up, getting her son, and then seeing that Constance is dead. And that's all we know until it cuts back to the timeline of Georgia. And, her and Noah their relationship has progressed. They're really liking each other.
They were like friends with benefits.
Yes.
Noah's fallen in love.
So is she, but she's not admitting it.
So Noah then, he finishes both endings, but doesn't tell Scarlett
because he needs to earn her trust.
He needs more time to make her fall in love with him, earn her trust, and...
So he, in secret, and we don't know at this point, but he in secret sends off both endings to be edited.
Yes.
And lies to Georgia that he's still working. I'm still working. And somehow they're like hanging out all the time. I don't know when she thinks he's still working.
Yeah.
Like 3 words a day.
And while he's working, he's using her grand's desk to write the story.
Yeah. And then her mom is like kind of in and kind of out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Georgia, who we said liked art, opens an art studio for the first time in a long time. I was so proud of her for this because she was an artist, and then
that was her dream.
Yeah, like her sucky ex kind of took the love of artistry and time for artistry away from her, and so she opens up a studio, and
Noah, trying to be like the good guy, invites her mom
to the opening
because he sees that part of her trust issues isn't just all of Damien. It's also like
it's mainly her mom.
By her mom.
Yeah, her grandmother or great grandmother raised her.
Right. And so he's like, if I invite your mom, she's coming for just you. She's not coming for any other purpose. She sucks. And
Noah also invited his sister. It was a very big deal for her opening. It was also, I think, George's birthday as well. Her opening.
Yes.
So, the opening goes great. Her and Noah come back. Noah gives her the most beautiful birthday gift. He found the record player in a closet in the house next door.
Oh, yeah, that he was staying in.
Yes, and they play it. They have a great night, of course.
And her mom comes.
Yes.
But she's, like, shocked about it, and she thinks...
Oh, this is great. What a turning point.
Yes.
So their mom stays with them, and then they wake up in the morning, come down the stairs, and find her mother scanning the manuscript.
Because she wants the movie rights, or she wants money.
She's then sending them to Damien because she wants the money.
Yep.
And then Ava, George's mother, drops the bomb that Noah has finished both endings of the book weeks ago.
And this is where she, like, instead of being a mom, she's like, Damien knew who you were. Like, your whole marriage was fake. Like,
Noah, so much.
Noah has finished the ending.
Everyone lies to you.
Everybody lies to you.
You're just somebody who's worth everybody lying.
Yeah,
to you.
exactly.
And
like, don't be mad at me because I'm doing this small little thing when everybody does this in life.
When, mind you, I think we forgot to mention that the entire advance for this book went to George's mother.
Yeah.
Ava.
Yes.
Georgia was like, I don't need money.
And Ava has also had, I think, 5 husbands.
Yes. And she's, like, trying to get her back with her husband, but he has, like, gambling issues and all this stuff.
Yeah. It's awful.
Her mom has lots of problems. So that is how Georgia and Noah have a third act breakup. You know, Georgia basically, she kicks him out. He calls, he tells her, that he loves her no matter what. And then it kind of was cut back to the rest of Scarlett's story.
So it's so funny with this book is, like, you're going through the Georgia and Noah
and it gets
stuff.
very far. Like, this is Kindle Limited, guys. We're all reading this in... Well, actually, Steph bought this book on paper.
Lauren actually gave it to me.
Lauren bought the book on paper. Okay. Well, I read it in Kindle Unlimited. So I'm like, man, I'm at 85%. Things are wrapping up really nicely. And then all of this is happening in, like, 7% of the book. Like, it was...
Yes.
And it's like both stories are just, like,
peaking.
coming... Yes.
It's like, I want to know, but I want to know, but I want to know, but I want to know. It was so good.
It was great. And then we get the biggest turning point of the entire book. So, we had, in England, Constance is dead is the last thing we knew. Until it cuts back to Scarlett, shaking Constance, trying to wake her up. Constance wakes up. She was just knocked unconscious.
She had a whole concrete building on top of her.
Like, but she is fine.
Yeah,
she's fine,
good.
guys.
She's like, why are you bleeding?
Yes, it turns out...
Yeah, and she's like, oh, what's this blood? And it's like, Scarlett's bleeding.
Yeah, well, Scarlett is like, my ribs hurt. And it turns out Scarlett was actively bleeding out the entire time. She was... getting her son, waking up Constance, and very sad ending to where Scarlett dies. And while she's dying, she, takes her last breath, and what does she say? Like,
take care of my
William.
son.
Take William, but then she sees Jameson.
And they're together.
It
was so, like, I don't think I cried, but I don't know that I didn't cry.
It was wonderful. So just fantastic.
It kind of made me feel better because I was like, the entire time I was thinking, this poor older woman has spent all of this life without her
one true love.
And then I was like, oh, she was with him.
Yes.
So then I think the biggest plot twist is Constance has William and then takes him to the airfield because she told her sister she would get him to safety.
Yeah, so she takes him to Vernon, realizes she only has Scarlett's purse with Scarlett's identification.
All of the visas. And that the only way to get William there safe is to pretend to be Scarlett.
And her face is swollen because Henry sucks.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so that's why
her face got hit somehow
in
the rain.
An air raid.
Yes,
it's dirty.
Yeah,
and like, how great are the cameras?
And she has a broken nose from the air raid, so she does not look recognizable.
Yeah.
She can pass.
But like close enough. Like, I'm this one from the picture, but like, we all kind of look the same.
And then she takes on. She is Scarlett.
And when she gets to America, she reads like the death toll of the raids, and her own name, Constance Wadsworth, is there. She goes, maybe I can just be Scarlett. So then she lives, 70 plus years as Scarlett.
Okay, so it was so cute because as you're reading, you realize that Scarlett had remarried a guy named Brian.
Yes.
Yeah. And so but it took her a while to marry him.
I kept kind of feeling bad for Brian.
Gran waited 17 years to marry Brian.
Yes. And you couldn't figure out why.
Right, why?
She kept saying she was still married to her first husband.
Yes. And then it comes, that's where like.
So Noah, popping back in the picture
Yes.
to modern times, he kept commenting on how it was so interesting to see in the writing process how much her writing changed over the years because she edited it. So he had like a hunch that this was not the OG Scarlet.
Right.
That something happened with Scarlet.
And he thought it was strange that all of a sudden she was okay with marrying Brian. And he was like, something happened.
Yeah, so
like,
it's obviously it's a romance. So somehow he funds a scuba diving expedition
to go to the Netherlands.
Yes.
And he goes and finds the plane.
And he finds the plane, the wedding ring.
That has the inscription on it.
Yes.
And he also figures out that Henry Wadsworth died. Right when Scarlett married Brian.
So he's able to put the pieces together.
So he's
kind of like that Britney Spears music video.
While he's figuring all this out, Georgia, she always gets these deliveries that her gran arranged in advance. So for her what would have been her 7th wedding anniversary, she gets a large box with a bunch of papers from her gran.
And the letter.
And the first letter is basically her gran saying, I am so sorry I lied to you, And then
she's like, what? More people lied
to me. The next
theme of the
next packet is then the actual ending of what happened after that air raid. So Georgia then learns that Scarlett, her great gran, has been Constance the entire time. And then her gran writes a follow-up letter, apologizing.
And there was no pun about her being a constant supporter or anything. And I felt like that was what was left unfinished, really, was the puns.
Yes.
No, but that was the book.
I know. Yeah. Then Noah shows back up. Oh, hold on here. We missed a big part.
Yes, the ending of the book.
So Scarlett chose the poignant, depressing ending to the book because she had final say. And they had some people kind of ahead of time read the book and they demolished it. They hated it.
The reviews were awful.
Yes.
Why would you?
And that's how Noah finds out, yes.
Yeah, so then after the book is actually released, comes to find out that Georgia changed the ending to the happily ever after.
So he gets really good reviews.
Then I think she felt permission to do that because she knew in the real story there was a happily ever after.
Yeah.
And then Noah shows back up after he finds out what she did to change the book after his whole 6-week scuba expedition.
and with the ring that...
Yeah, with the wedding ring that was Jameson's.
Yeah.
It was just...
And then the last chapter of the book is the actual last chapter of like...
what Noah wrote.
Of them meeting in the gazebo. In Colorado.
Yes. So the ending Noah wrote included him then, having a broken leg, having to recover in someone's barn, hiding in the Netherlands for 3 months. And then he fought with, the people of the Netherlands for another year until he could finally come home and surprise Scarlett and just show up magically because no one could send a letter.
No, obviously not.
It didn't work like that.
He probably didn't remember. He hit his head pretty hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Going down in that water barn and couldn't remember the address. Is it 683 or 863?
So that is
the story.
That is the story. So what do you guys think? Overall impression?
It's my second time reading. I reread it for this, and I just still love it as much as I did the first time.
I really enjoyed it.
No, I really, really liked it. The twist, I was really shocked about.
I was too.
And I was like...
And I'm not normally that shocked.
I was that person watching you read, just waiting. Did you get to that point yet?
Yes. Okay, also, so we were all in DC last weekend, and so Amity and I hadn't read it yet, and we were finishing it in DC with Lauren in the hotel room. So Lauren got to see us.
Love watching the reaction to the
waking up at like 2 a.m.
I know. At one point, I was in the shower, and I knew Steph was getting close to the twist. And I turned off the shower, and I hear like, oh my gosh, no, I missed it.
I think I turned to Lauren when I thought Constance had died, and I was like, Constance just died? And she looked at me.
I felt like I heard that part, and I was like, hurry, towel dry. But then you got there, and I was like, man, I missed it. But yeah.
I think I just looked at him and keep reading.
Yeah. And then I went back to Georgia, and I was like, wait, what? So.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It was, I mean, it's just such a great book. I love the historical romance part of it. And it was just so different with the two timelines.
I loved it. I really liked it.
Yes, it was just beautifully, and how the two timelines are connected and how much they mean to each other.
I know I talked about last time how much I love a dual perspective, and this was a really cool twist on dual perspective.
Yeah, because they had like 4.
Yeah.
Because we had Noah, we had Georgia, we had Scarlett, and, well, technically 5 if you think about it.
Yes, yeah, because it was a lot of Constance.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I will say, it was interesting reading it for the second time, knowing that Gran was Constance the entire time. So I'm like trying to it was kind of picking out like the different things, because then you go back and, Scarlett was known for being a terrible cook, but then Gran bakes all these amazing baked goods.
I didn't even put that together.
And
second time reading.
And Constance was the one who was the great gardener, and Gran's a great gardener.
Oh, well, duh.
Yeah.
Well, I feel a
So
little...
when you go back through the second time, and when I was reading and picking up all these things, I was like, oh, there were clues there a little bit, but you would never have gotten
Look at you, Rebecca.
I know.
What's interesting to me too is that Constance was such a good author because she was writing down the stories that her sister had told her growing up, and that
her sister started,
and her sister, so she was just rewriting the stories that she was told by her sister.
I thought it was such a sweet tribute. She still used the original typewriter that Jonathan got her sister.
Yeah. So Scarlett kind of wrote plots for a number of books, 10, 15. Scarlett ended up publishing 87 books, so Constance still wrote a ton on her own.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
I'm
I'm glad you added that perspective.
Yeah,
I mean, 87 books.
That's a lot.
She did have 70 years to do it though, so
sure, but still, 70 years is a long career.
I know. Could you imagine pretending to be someone else for 70 years?
Do you think Brian knew?
I don't know.
Oh, that's
I don't think so, because she didn't want to make him complicit in her breaking
me Connie.
Yeah.
It's short for Scarlett.
Yeah. And George's middle name was Constance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah. Interesting.
I know. I wonder how much of the manuscript story, the Scarlett Jameson love story, the family knew. How often could you, if Brian didn't know, could you talk about your long lost love?
Yeah, that's true.
Without current love being but then it was me.
Yeah.
But the manuscript, it was hidden in a closet, and then Ava found it, right?
But so how did they know about the name Constance? I mean, just I have a sister named Constance.
Yeah, I think
she was great. I actually think really highly of her.
She died in the war.
Yeah, I am.
To save you.
And I also wonder if and I just imagine Brian this way, that he was this guy who was I'm her second love. She had, because both sisters had a first big love.
Maybe Brian had a first love too, and so they were.
Yeah. It was beautiful how they talked about the different types of love.
Yeah. Yes.
So, because Jameson and Scarlett had, the once in a lifetime, just
right, sweeping. I hear this song from The Sims.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Scarlett and Brian were just the sweet love,
the partnership. Yes.
Yeah, because in the last letter, she was I hope you have a love like my first love, and
that's Constance talking about
Edward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be. Yes. And that, that was also an epic love story.
It was epic, but it was grow old together.
Yes.
Grow together.
Up together.
Yeah, grow up together, grow together type love. Different than Scarlett and Jameson had a flash in the pan. Yes. I didn't even realize that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like it even more now. Yeah. Oh.
Such a great book.
Okay, so there were tropes. We kind of talked about the pregnancy tropes.
Yes.
A little forced proximity.
A little, enemies to lovers.
Yes. I love an enemies to lovers book. I love an enemy silver. I like forced proximity too. I liked this twist on it that it wasn't like it's forced proximity like we're neighbors, but not like. And then a hurricane came, and now we share the one room or something. Like I
we had to share a bed because there was nothing else.
Not like the Hallmark movie where they all end up like in a snowstorm and they
in the cabin with just like one fireplace and a pull-out couch. Yes, no, I liked it. Felt so maybe it's not forced proximity. I don't know.
I mean, a little bit.
I do love the like. It was like close family, but also like family is negative. You know, sort of.
It's kind of like found family.
Yes, exactly.
Ish.
Yeah, because like Noah was really close with his family, and then Georgia was really close with her great-grandmother, but she wasn't close with her mom, and then Scarlett wasn't close with her parents, so like that kind of parallel between the two of them.
That probably helped their relationship almost too. Like, I'm gonna save you from your crappy parents because I had my sister to save me from my crappy parents, and Do you want to rate it?
Out of 10.
Out of 10.
You guys go first.
I will give this let's do an 8.5.
I was gonna say 8.2.
Yeah, so I would do an 8.5.
I love that we're still going out of 10.
I know,
we're still
points. I'm gonna go with a 9 because, I mean, of all the books I read last year, I think it was still my favorite.
It was really good. I don't know what would be perfect. I will say there were points in the middle where I was like, something needs to happen. Yeah. Like there was a lot of getting to know each other time, but I also don't know, like, am I tired right now? And like, that's why I'm like, can this plot continue, please? Like, move along.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired and I just want to get through plot faster. Because I read at night and I read myself to sleep.
Yes.
And when I'm tired, I don't get through plot because I'm just reading 4 or 5 pages and then I'm out. And so, like, unless the plot's really moving, 4 or 5 pages in, nothing happens.
So I have to ask your opinion about something.
Yeah.
So this had, like, that mixture of different timelines and different perspectives. What was your thought on that?
I loved it.
You like that?
I did
Bring
too.
me the complex books.
Yeah, because it was, like, all the different perspectives, all the different timelines.
And just the character development is so great.
Yes.
She does such an amazing job with her characters.
It was interesting reading this after Fourth Wing because Fourth Wing, you root for the main character so much, and then Georgia, at first, I was, like, unsure about her, but then...
I didn't like her. She seems a little whiny and a little, like, woe is me.
Yes.
Like, she just
blow some glass. Like, get over yourself.
Yes.
She was also, it seemed at first, she was just trying to have her way no matter what, even if it wasn't the right way.
Right, well, and strong for who? Like, your
and I think this is why I gave it an 8.5, because I was like, just give Noah a chance. Like, come on. I think she was a little too, like, no, I'm not giving it a chance.
Or just say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, I'm not interested in turning this into a full book at this moment. Thank you so much. I'll
and then she got so
mad
at him, too. I was like, whoa, that's a little...
Yeah. She was...
In her defense, she was having a real rough day.
That is true. That is true.
Fresh, like, day of divorce, just got back to Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, mom springing this on her and pretending to be her.
But so then grow some cojones and say no.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree. It kind of made me mad that she never told her mother no until the very end.
Right.
I feel like she gave her mom more of a chance than she gave Noah a chance.
She gave her mom more of a chance than she deserved. By far.
Yeah.
By far. She sucked. Okay. So what are we going to next, guys?
Oh, what's...
What is that?
Lakefront Billionaires by Lauren Asher.
Yeah.
The book is Love Redesigned.
Love Redesigned.
And it's
on Kindle Unlimited.
It is Kindle Unlimited.
Only
it's new.
Kindle Unlimited. Ish. Yes. I think
you said it was new.
The second one of that series comes out in a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
Darn.
I'm sorry.
I hoped it was out.
I know.
Already, but that's fine.
But she does have a lot of backlists. It's really great.
She does. So featured in Love Redesigned is the Kane, right?
Yes.
Remember correctly? The Kane brothers. And I read their series, so did you. And they were good.
They were good.
It was good. So that's the next book, Love Redesigned. We'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys are reading in the meantime?
Not
I've seen
all all of the videos for the new Bridgerton on Netflix.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Did you see the long trailer that came out today?
I haven't seen it, but I've been like
it was
seeing
so
like
good. It's
little
like 2.5
clips.
minutes long. I love it.
Is this for the show?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just downloaded. It's the cover. Don't judge me. It got me. It was one of the advertisements on my Kindle called The Fallen One.
Oh, wait,
Fallen
who's that by?
Falls security novel. The last name is
No, I've been wanting to. I think I read one of those.
Okay, well, so I'm gonna read this next too.
Who's the author?
The last name is Sahin, S-A-H-I-N,
Yes,
but
I
I
think
can't remember.
I read
I can't
one.
read the first name.
Brittany?
And it says Kindle. Yes, it looks like it's Brittany.
Hold on. I have another one. How do I get to that screen? Oh, here it is.
You just go back to home.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna start that soon, but then Zodiac Academy, the last book, comes out on the 23rd
Of
Of
this month?
April?
of April. Yes, this
Oh my
month.
God.
I
That's
know.
so crazy.
I'm so excited. So that's all I'll read, but I'm probably gonna read it really fast.
Yeah.
But like not really
Yes.
fast because it's so long.
How long are they?
Oh my
They're
gosh,
super long.
They're really long.
Are they like fourth wing long or
Yes.
like,
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I
Yes.
also have the Tomboy and the Captain because I'm on this athletic kick where I just have to read all the Kindle Unlimited
Well,
books
you go
with,
through like a hockey
okay.
phase,
Yes.
and then
that are like sports themed.
I do like the sports themes.
and then you get your billionaire phase.
Yes. And the billionaire. I can't wait to talk about it. I have so many thoughts.
Yes.
I'm like,
yeah.
yes.
I'm only 41% through the next one, and I'm already
Mine's
contemplating.
going.
Yeah.
I finished it today, but we'll talk about that on our next episode. So with that being said, thanks for listening, everybody, to our reviews, rants, and ramblings. Remember, if you also read this book and you review it on Amazon or Goodreads, please include that Schmindel Schmunlimited sent you. And if you wouldn't mind a quick review on your podcast platform of our podcast, we would be forever grateful. Have a great week-ish, and we can't wait to read, review, rant, and ramble about the next book with you. Adios.